Please welcome on stage Florian.
Hello, my name is Florian, and I have a confession to make. I like humans. Humans are fascinating creatures. They have the capability of loving each other. They have the capability of being kind, of treating each other well. We can be kind. We can realize ourselves in art, in creating a business. This wouldn't be possible if you wouldn't have developed brains, opposable thumbs to create tools and use tools in the first place. But what few people tend to forget is that humans have a dark side. A dark side that most people are not aware of, because most history books do not really talk about this one. And the more you learn about our past, the more you realize how big this dark side of human nature actually is. See, when we first came onto this planet, our species, Homo sapiens, we weren't alone here. We weren't the only human species. In fact, researchers think that we shared this planet with 5 other human species. A couple thousand years after we came on this planet, all these 5 species were eradicated. There was a megafauna on continents like America and Australia, but only a few centuries after the first humans went on that scene, the megafauna died out. Humans also have a history of enslaving our own kin, just because they're slightly different in skin color, have a slightly different ethnicity. Just 60 years ago, we had the human zoo in big European cities. But the dark side goes on. We even suppressed a different part of our gender. We are one of the only creatures on this planet that is capable of waging war, next to chimpanzees and next to some ant species. And this is probably one of the most dark pictures of war. In the last couple of years, we've created nuclear bombs that the only remnants that will leave of our fellow humans is a shadow on the wall, imprinted forever. So this was actually a little child playing on a chain when the Hiroshima bomb hit. And after it hit, the only remnant of the child and the chain and the hydrant was a shadow and the hydrant itself. But I'm here to talk about a different issue. Because most of these things that I've talked about are, for better, remnants of the past. But the way we treat non-human animals on a daily basis and the killing machines that we've created over the last thousands of years almost goes beyond our comprehension. Let me explain. This is the graph of the human population in the last couple of thousand of years. We have been on this planet since 200,000 years, and researchers think that about 100 billion humans have ever lived on this planet. This is a gigantic sum, until you know that each and every year we kill more than 150 billion animals. This is more than the entire existence of our species combined in a single year. Approximately 2 million animals since this talk has started. To put this in comparison, in the year of 2017, the biggest threat arguably we thought was terrorist attacks. But in that year, only 17,000 people died of terrorists. In one of the greatest human tragedies, World War II, 80 million people perished. Well, this all pales to what we do to non-human animals on a daily basis. But you might think that we're talking about animals. They're way different to the human species. But is that truly so? If you take a look at an animal, this is the anatomy of a chicken. Chicken is the animal that is most often used for food. You see, chicken have lungs, which means they have a respiratory system. They have a digestive system. They have a stomach here. They have a heart. They have a kidney. They have ovaries to reproduce. But one of the most important things I want to highlight today is they have a brain. A brain and a spinal cord. Now, why does this matter? What is so special about a brain? What is so special about a brain is that the brain is an immediate feedback mechanism. Let me explain. Everybody knows this animal? It's called a sea squirt. A sea squirt. And what is special about this animal is that there's a huge difference between the embryo stage and the adult stage. The embryo has a brain. The adult stage does not. This tells us a lot about why we have brains in the first place. See, how a sea squirt lives once it was born is it finds a place to survive. Once he finds a nice place, he simply stays there and eats his own brain. It eats its own brain to minimize calories. And another reason why it eats its own brain is because it doesn't have to move anymore. So one of the fundamentals of why we do have a brain in the first place is movement. Because if you think about it, the only way we move, the only reason we move, is to avoid pain and seek pleasure, aka an immediate feedback mechanism. Which means we can conclude that animals that are capable of moving likely have some sort of sensation of pleasure and pain. This doesn't have to be exactly the sensation that we are feeling, but it likely is quite similar. That's why it makes no sense if people claim that plants feel pain. See, plants do not feel pain because they're incapable of moving. Plants do not have a nervous system or a brain. But the existent or the living beings on this planet that do feel pain are animals. Why do I explain this to you? See, the most common reason why people go vegan, actually 68%, is because of animals. Only a minuscule percentage is health or the planet or other reasons. Why most people go vegan is because they believe in this sentence, that you have to be the change that you wish to see in the world. Is this statement from Gandhi? But this wasn't always the case for me. See, just 5 years ago, my DNA was closer to a chicken than that of a human. I ate 1 kilogram of chicken every single day, so this is 2 pounds. I ate 6 eggs in the morning. I come from a family of hunters. My grandfather was a hunter. And I do not really like to talk about this, but the neighbor of our village that we lived in was a butcher. And I've witnessed animal slaughter as a young kid. I know how animals are treated. I know that pigs are electrocuted and then their throats are slit. I know that cows are shot from the close distance. And everything we learn about how animals are treated on the internet that you read about or watch about is true. But guess what? For some reason, it didn't bother me at all. For some reason, it didn't came to me that animals could feel any sort of pain. Until 5 years ago, when I read a book called Eating Animals by Jonathan Safran Foer. This was the first time that I realized that on a daily basis, I inflict so much pain to living beings that I needed to change. Now, this was very hard to grasp for me. And there are a couple of reasons why. See, 5 years ago, I was already training in the gym. And the only thing I was good at that time, arguably, was fitness, was training, was lifting weights up and putting them down. See, I want to have a career in the fitness industry. But now that I've become vegan, I thought this wasn't possible. There's another reason that bugged me. I thought vegans were full of stupid hippies, to be frank. I thought they couldn't be right. There could be no chance they did know something that I didn't. But the more I read about this issue, the more I realized that I was the person in the wrong. This was me 3 months after going vegan. And 3 months after going vegan was the first time in my life that I've ever seen a six-pack. This was a goal since I started training. And 3 months after going vegan was the first time I've been capable of losing weight. And I was wondering, how did this work? What about protein? Why don't I need protein on this diet? Because when I first became vegan, everyone told me that I would be protein deficient. Fact of the matter is, this is not true. See, for those that are interested in building muscle in the gym, a max amount of muscle that you can put on in a year is 10 kilograms of muscle mass naturally. Now, out of those 10 kilograms of muscle mass, only 2 kilograms are protein structures. And these 2 kilograms are 2,000 grams of protein, and if you divide this by the days of a year, which are 365, you get about an additional 5 to 6 grams of protein every single day, if you had the conversion of 100%. Even if you have a 50% conversion of dietary protein to the protein of our own, this wouldn't justify basing our entire diet about this one single nutrient. Because if you read more about exercise physiology, you realize that carbohydrates are the new protein. This whole belief that you need as much protein as we need right now was based off the 19th century of a chemist called Justus von Liebig. Justus von Liebig originally thought that our proteins, that our muscles use protein as an energy source. But in recent years, we found out that they use carbohydrates. Also, our brain uses carbohydrates to survive. You have a blood-brain barrier, and only carbohydrates, and some might argue ketones, there's some science about ketones, but carbohydrates are our main fuels, especially when training in the gym. And guess what? The vegan diet is full of them. But then I asked myself, if the vegan diet has such a nice fundament, why are some people underweight or overweight by following this diet? Because the truth of the matter is that vegans have an advantage. Because vegans have changed an integral part of their life, which is their dietary belief. Which means you have essentially used a ton of discipline to change your diet. And the same thing can be applied to training in the gym. You have already made a great work, a great stepping stone. You've already went over a great stepping stone to achieving a great physique by simply displaying discipline. See, the way I see it, there are 3 stages to fitness. There's the beginning stage, skinny or fat. There's the athletic stage, and there's the bodybuilder stage. See, I'm specialized in this stage. And I've helped all of my clients go from this stage to this stage. I do not usually recommend them to go beyond. And here's the reason why. See, I'm quite analytical about this stuff. And when you work in a gym, you realize that the way a body shape gives you the most life quality is at the athletic stage. This is the stage where you have more success with girls. This is the stage, or with guys, depending on what you're into. And this is the stage where you make a better first impression. It's not the bodybuilder. In fact, most people think that bodybuilders are stupid. It's this stage of being athletic where you have the most bang for your buck, essentially. And this is also the stage where you could maintain easily. If you want to go to the next stage, you have to use a shit ton of effort to get there. You have to have an immersion period in the beginning, but once you're at this stage, it doesn't really take much to maintain. My belief is that fitness should be a positive amplifier. It should improve every aspect of your life. And if fitness becomes the sole focus of your life, it minimizes that point. It doesn't go along by this point. So why do people fail? I ask myself. And the longer I've worked in the fitness industry, I realized that it's not suboptimal meal plans. It's not suboptimal workout plans. The reason why people fail in the gym is because of this analogy. See, if you want to go from Europe to America, the fastest track is to go over the Atlantic. But the way most people do it is to go along Africa, then they try to go this path, and then they adjust their path, and then they go over the Pacific to America. Now, why do they do this? See, you do follow the wrong advice. You do follow the wrong advice. The captain of your ship doesn't go this way because they think, oh, it's the best way. You usually have advisors who steer you in a different way. And the longer I am in the fitness industry, the more I realize that a lot of people simply don't know what they're talking about. The second reason is that people give up way too early. People give up way too early. The stage to my fitness results wasn't this one. The stage to my fitness results was this one. And ask anyone that has achieved any sort of success in business or in art. It's usually this path. So what improves the speed and the direction of your path is usually a person that's already done that, what you want to achieve. Thomas Edison said, our greatest weakness lies in giving up. The most certain way to succeed is always to try just one more time. And I find this to be especially true. See, this is your plan. When you want to achieve your fitness results, when you want to lose weight, or you want to build muscle, you think that it's a straight path. And I would be a liar. It probably would sound good if I would tell you this, but I would be a freaking liar if I tell you that it's a straight path and I have the secret formula. No, that's not true. What it's really about, it's about overcoming constant hurdles on your path to your fitness shape. And the more you think about this, and the more I am in this industry, I realize that it goes over to all aspects of our life. I mean, the bright side of human existence, if you think about life, relationships are not easy. They're a constant effort. They're a hard path of success. They're not the easy path of success. They're the hard path. Constant hurdles that you have to go over. Kindness, it is hard to be kind. It is easy to be rude, especially when you're stressed out. Self-realization is hard. Painting a picture, writing something, creating a video is hard. There's even a book called The Art of Art. It is so hard. It's easy to do nothing. And the more you realize it is hard to see the bright side of human nature, it's usually easier to go down the dark side. So which side are you going to choose? Thank you.
The mission of this YouTube channel is to put veganism across the goal line. If you want to help us achieve that, like and subscribe to this channel, and don't forget to hit the bell icon. Let's make food production great again.